Hey everybody, and just want to do a quick little review on the Garmin Forerunner 305 and the Garmin Forerunner 405. And this is just for beginners who are looking for a GPS. The advanced runners will probably prefer Polar or some other manufacturers, but just give you just a quick comparison between the two, and it will help you decide which one you want to get. Both are pretty good units. The 305 been around for a little longer, and you can tell it's the square. Now this is the model that doesn't have the heart rate monitor. The model that has the heart rate monitor is red, but essentially the same thing. The 405 will come in two different colors and does come with a heart rate monitor. You can see the form factor is quite different. However, they are essentially more or less the same form factor, but this one is obviously a little bit more, the 405 being more round and a little bit smaller than the 305. But other than that, for size wise, it's pretty much the same thickness. It's just a little thinner. So the 405 is definitely a little bit more nicer watch to wear. If you feel like wearing your GPS at work, it won't look as silly as wearing this to work. So that's one thing. The one thing to say quickly about battery consumption, which is probably the second biggest thing you want to look at. The 305 or the 301s are definitely a lot better, simply because it has about 13 or 15 hour battery life. And mainly because you have the on and off switch. The 405 is always on, and you really have to look at the manual, at the fine print, for them to figure out exactly how does the power thing work out. So essentially, this will stay on for a week continuously, as long as you do 3 30-minute runs, and this should be on for a week. Or if you don't use this at all, it's on power save mode. You'll have battery life for 2 weeks. But other than that, you really charge it every other run that you do. If you do 3 or 4 times a week, every other run, and especially if you're a long distance runner, 10K or half marathon group, you definitely want to charge this every other run. Unfortunately, this one here, you can have it a charge. This will be good for a couple of weeks until you need it. Other than that, you'll need for the 305 a little cradle. You plug this underneath, do the USB sync that way. For the 405, you have no USB cable. In fact, you only have the little wireless dongle, the Ant Sport. It's nice, works pretty good in terms of finding, if you leave this plugged into your computer or laptop, as you walk in the door, the workouts will be upgraded. But other than that, it's not too bad. Other than that, in terms of display, 305 still has a rockin' display. It's much bigger numbers. The 405, you still have to squint a little bit to find out the data fields. However, the data fields do scroll, so if you set up custom screens, you can set up your speed or your pace, your lap pace, kilometer per mile pace, that kind of thing. The screens will scroll, while this one you still have to hit the buttons to scroll between the screens. So depending on what type of data you're looking for, heart rate zones, lap pace, this will scroll, and this was almost nicer to look at. However, the readability, this one is a lot nicer. Other than that, other things that are off the box, both can accept workouts. I'll do another video on how to use Training Center to upload a workout to really focus your workout, especially if you're using a heart rate monitor. Other than that, the only issue I had with this one was that you really need to charge this out of the box as soon as you get it. Don't play with it to initialize it or set it up. Charge it up, because the battery gauge really needs to be calibrated properly. There's a few issues on the forums about battery life. In the morning you look at the battery gauge, it says 50%, and then at lunchtime the thing dies, or it dies during the run. It's probably because of an improperly calibrated battery gauge. So best thing to do is, when you get this out of the box, charge it. And I don't have the charger with me. It's this silly little thing. This looks like a clip. It's like a laundry clip. But you need to charge it out of the box right away, and then you play with it afterwards. Otherwise, you have to do a reset and drain the battery, and it's a little bit more painful, but other than that. That's about it. Initial glance out of it. People will probably gravitate towards the 301 or the 305s because since this came out, you got a nice price drop for this, and this is still a pretty good model for that. If you like the more stylish or the latest greatest, 405 is always good. A little more pricey, but you know, you get the latest version. Satellite acquisition, again, probably a little bit better. The antenna is here and the antenna is here, so it can acquire satellites a little bit faster on the 405. 305, you get the latest firmware, you should be able to get some good satellite reception. Again, if you don't use it for a couple weeks, it will take you longer to find satellites if you're outside. If you use it every couple days, finding satellites is relatively quick if you start it up in the same spot. And of course, you got to be stationary when you first start it up so that you know you can find the satellites and all that. So I'll do another video on training centers, and this is just a very broad overview. Hope you like it.